Good morning, insiders. Welcome to your Monday download. Today we're going to talk a little bit more about, we're going to do a little recap on our conference call from last week on HAFA. But first I want to start out with a story about Connie Fernandez. She sure gets a lot of video time these days. Connie's just killing it. You might remember me talking about the file that Connie got the trustee to postpone. So for those of you that don't remember, there was a file that the bank had said we're taking this to auction, and she didn't like that answer, so she went to the trustee, who is the attorney that's processing the foreclosure action, and convinced the attorney to postpone the foreclosure sale, even though the bank had given them instructions to take it to the foreclosure auction. Honestly, I have no idea how she did that, but she did that. Well, that was 4 weeks ago, or 3 weeks ago now. The first time she got that postponement. Last week she got it postponed a fourth time. The bank is still determined to take this to auction, but she's given herself an extra month simply by working directly with the attorney in their office. But the best part of this story is that the postponement was because they haven't had a chance to review the package, and they keep saying they don't have the package. And if you've negotiated very many short sales, you know the routine that they kind of give you, or the line they give you. Well, we don't have the file, so we're going to have to take it to auction. Well, they kept not getting the file, and because she kept getting postponements, the trustee was confused as well as to how it's possible. How could they possibly not have the file? Well, Connie talked the trustee into, or the trustee is just such good friends now with Connie. The trustee actually had Connie fax the short sale package into their office, into the attorney's trustee office. And then if you may know that the attorney that's foreclosing on a property and the bank that's instructing the attorney to foreclose, most of them have some sort of like an internal communication system similar to like what Equator would be, where you can upload back and forth documents and give messages and different things, so that the bank can communicate with the attorney and vice versa. Well, this attorney had her fax the short sale package into her office, uploaded it to her system, and then uploaded it into the bank's system directly to the person that was over the file, directly to who their communication comes from for the short sale instructions, so that they could no longer say that they didn't have the documentation because it had been uploaded into their own internal system. So that was pretty hilarious. They had to immediately admit that they had it after we had that information. But anyway, I thought that was just such a humorous story. And again, for those of you who have negotiated a short sale or two or more, just completely crazy out there that she's getting this done and getting these people to work with her in this regard. We still haven't had anybody review the file to a point of either approving or countering the buyer or doing anything like that. But we have another week, so who knows what Connie will be able to accomplish in the next week. The funny thing is, I don't think that the agents on this file even realize how crazy awesome this is that Connie has been able to get this done for them. So more power to you, Connie. Keep up the good work, and I'll keep you posted on how that goes, especially if it turns out good and we get it not just postponed but approved and closed. So let's talk about HAFA. First, I want to apologize for everybody on that conference call that we had. Somebody was putting us on hold, and that was not just ridiculous, but made it very difficult to communicate back and forth. So I apologize for that. I will say this: if anybody feels like the information was just lost because of the hold commercial that was going on, send me an email, because I would be open to doing the conference call again, so that you could feel like you got the information a little more solid and then have an opportunity to ask questions. I don't think anybody really wanted to ask questions, because that would mean they had to stay on that call longer and listen to more hold advertising. So send me an email, because I would happily do that conference call again to make sure that everybody really understands the timelines in HAFA and all that goes into HAFA and some of the major problems that we're seeing, and kind of giving you some warnings so that we can avoid the issues that HAFA presents. But let's just do a quick overview for those of you who missed the call, or those of you that just want to kind of get a quick refresher. One of the bigger issues that I've been talking about since November, when it first came out, was the BPO and appraisal part of HAFA. And it's a huge issue, especially if the BPO comes in too high. And in a lot of parts of the country, BPOs are challenging to get to an accurate level. They're often in higher than they should be, and therefore the challenge is that, and I'm saying the word challenge too much because it's in my next phrase, you can't challenge the BPO. So if the BPO comes in too high in the HAFA program, there is no opportunity to challenge that BPO. It is what it is. Once it's been set, and once the SSA letter goes out to the borrower explaining the program and what the agent has to list the property at and all of the details based on what the value of the property is, it's game over. There's no opportunity to combat that value. There has been, in one of the conference calls I was on, one of the marketing people that was on the conference call, again, they're just trying to be a good face to the public for their bank, said, oh, well, you could send in comps and we can see what we could do. But when we actually drilled into not just the directive, but talked to some upper level management at Wells Fargo specifically, and asked them, what if the BPO is bad? She said, it's too bad, you're going to have to pull it out of HAFA and start over in a traditional short sale, because there's no way to override what the value of the property is for the 120 days that it's set to market. So that's 4 months. You have to sit with a bad BPO for 4 months. So that's an issue. Here's a huge warning, and this is for anybody and everybody that has a file that goes HAFA. Your sellers need to understand the time frames, and they need to be quick on their time frames. So for example, the SSA document has a 14-day window from the time it's issued to the time it has to be responded to. What that means is from the day that the bank sends it to the homeowner, which they're going to physically FedEx or UPS that document to them, from the day it leaves the bank until it's back in the bank's hands, in the bank's system, is 14 days. So not postmarked. That's the key. It's not postmarked by 14 days. It's received back by them. If it's not received by them, if it's received on the 15th day or later, they're automatically declined for HAFA. Which leads me to another point that's interesting, important to know about HAFA, is that if your borrower, your seller, is declined in the HAFA program, they do not get another opportunity to apply for it. It's done. It's game over. So make sure you follow in these timelines, and make sure your seller understands they need to follow these timelines, because if they slough off or they forget or they don't get it back in time, it's just done, and they're not going to be able to have the opportunity. Okay, what if I have an approval traditionally? I got an email after our conference call clarifying some stuff, and I'll just read the email to you and then give you my answer, because this is another really important piece that you need to understand. The email reads, I have another short sale file. I just found out about that $3,000 that may be available to help homeowners when the short sale is complete. We're about 20 days from closing. Are there some forms that I could use to try and get that money from my seller, or is this something that should have happened when we got the offer? Okay, here's how it works. If you're in a traditional short sale method and you're going down the line, and you decide you want to go into HAFA, they will let you remove yourself out of the traditional program and put yourself in HAFA. If you get declined, the HAFA program is not going to take that. In his example, he's already got an approved short sale. They're not even going to take that approval. They're going to start you over in HAFA and push you down the line according to the HAFA guidelines. If you are declined for HAFA, or if the value for HAFA comes in so high that the approved short sale price you just had is not high enough, or does not meet the standards, then you have to get yourself out of HAFA, or you're declined from HAFA. You have to start the traditional process over again. That short sale approval is not something that you can assume. So basically, my advice to this agent was, do not, absolutely, if you're 20 days from closing on your short sale, do not start that thing over. Stay as far away from that as possible. If the seller is saying, hey, I heard about this $3,000, let them know that the way the program works is that they would lose the current buyer and lose the current offer on the table and have to start all over. The reality is that buyer is probably not going to stand around to start the process over when they've already got an approval and they're expecting to close in a couple weeks. So that's kind of my HAFA overview. I ended the call and actually said throughout, make sure if you have sellers that want to go through the HAFA process, make sure you give us a phone call. We want to strategize on each one of these right now individually, because there's so many pitfalls. There's problems with timing of when you list the property, and with the BPOs and the review process and that huge timeline that I went through with you. Give us a call, because we want to strategize and make sure you and your seller understand the risks of going HAFA, and then what the best strategy is moving forward if HAFA is the direction that you decide to go. So call the office and we'll strategize about that if it's something that you're interested in. That's all I have for today. Have an excellent week. We're partway through the month of May. We got some people that are going after that iPad, and there's lots of opportunity if you're interested in getting that, for you to get some files in here and you can win the iPad. So, all right, that's all for now. Don't forget to email me if you want to do that HAFA call again, because it was too distracting. All right, have a great one. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.